Yo guys, Kaiji King 3000 here. Today we're going to be reacting to, let's see, sorry, the tragic water tank deaths. Now this is by Nick Crowley, I believe is how you say it. And I never actually seen any of his videos. I heard of him, but I haven't actually seen any of his videos. So I'm pretty sure this one's going to be interesting. And yeah, without further ado, let's get on to reaction, shall we?
Tasted horrible. It had very funny, sweety, disgusting taste. It's very, very strange taste. I can barely describe
Death by water tank.
It was fairly early in the day, which, for a lady named Mrs. Go, meant it was time to give her children their daily baths. So she entered their bathroom and turned on the water.
Okay.
She called her children in as the water filled closer and closer to the top. The kids stepped in.
Don't tell me they drown.
The warm bath water. The following.
Side note, I don't take baths that much. I take them to like relax and all, but I don't like take baths to stay clean because I think everyone can agree, especially now in this time, that baths don't really make you clean because you're sitting in your own filth basically. I mean, they're nice to like relax in and such, like a spa or a hot tub, something like that. Kind of like that kind of luxury or thing, but like baths are not meant to like clean people, you know, because you're just in your own filth. Showers are more effective because you're just under the water. It just rinses you off because the water's going through you. It takes away all the filth. You're not like still sitting in it basically. So, yeah.
Minutes would see the ordinary moments of Mrs. Go bathing her children until
Okay.
eventually they were clean and ready for the day. As
Okay.
they stepped out of the tub and onto their towels, she noticed small white bubbles on the water just floating on its surface.
Okay.
They caught her eye, but not necessarily her attention, as the water swirled down the drain, taking the strange bubbles with it. Perhaps it was from the soap or the shampoo.
That's what I was thinking.
But something about it lingered in the back of Mrs. Go's mind as the days went by.
So, was it soap?
Seemed different, and that's because it was.
Ooh.
In the following days, Mrs. Go would be notified that a body had been found in their building complex, and to be more specific, the body had been found inside the hotel's water tank. A water tank
Oh,
that led to over 150 different rooms, with hers being one.
that's
She had
fucked
been
up.
bathing her children in water with particles of human remains floating in it. They had also been drinking that very same.
Oh no.
It's a story that we've now
No.
all become familiar with. One of the most shocking cases of many of our lifetimes. A lady mysteriously and inexplicably found within a hotel's water tank as those in the building drank that very water she was decomposing in.
Jesus
This
Christ.
lady's name being Elisa Lamb.
Is this the footage of her? What's she doing?
Only this isn't her story. In fact, at the time that Mrs. Go was bathing her children in that tainted water, Elisa Lamb was still very much alive,
What?
and she would remain living for over 2 years after this case.
W-
Rather,
What?
this incident took place back in 2011, halfway across the world in Singapore. The lady who had been found in the water tank was a 30-year-old maid named Ruyawati, who was in a forbidden relationship with a married man. And upon her employer finding
What?
out, Ruyawati's life spiraled. She fell into a depressive and suicidal rage. She
Oh.
walked up the stairs and onto the roof of that building and jumped into the.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of tired right now. It's like I think it's like 10. Let me see. It is. Yeah, it's like 10 o'clock. So I'm kind of tired. So yeah, forgive me for yawning.
water tank. She continuously
I'm not crying either. I just yawn because yawning makes your eyes watery, which I hate that.
sunk her head under the water again and again
What?
until eventually she drowned.
Oh no.
Death by water tank. The darkness of it, the loneliness of it. It's a fate that was highlighted in the movie Dark Water, but it was the death of
I
Elisa
think I actually
Lamb
seen that
that has
movie, Dark
permanently
Water.
ingrained it in my mind,
Man, I look so
specifically
tired.
because of how
My eye looks
terrifyingly
kind of bad
unique
actually.
it was. Besides the movie, I had never heard of anyone dying.
No, guys, I'll be right back. I'm gonna check my eye real quick because it looks kind of bad. Alrighty, guys, I'm back. I'm sorry, but my eye just looked really bad, and like lately my eye has just been hurting. At the time of this recording the video, I still got a doctor's appointment I gotta go to. So yeah, hope it's not something serious, cause I don't know. But anyway, what's going on with reaction?
In a water tank before that incident. It's something that I figured had never happened, as it really shouldn't. It's just too improbable. But I was shocked to discover that Elisa Lamb wasn't the only one to have died inside of one of these water tanks.
What?
And surprisingly, some would even say that this is something that happens with regularity
What
all
do you mean?
across the world. In fact, on May 13th, 2011, the body of a 19-year-old girl was found in Johar,
19? Holy
floating within
shit!
the water
No.
tank of an apartment complex. That was the same exact day that Ruyawadi's body had been found, too. It is believed that
Jeez.
she had also committed suicide by jumping into the tank. And the stories just go on from here, with every example proving to be extremely disturbing.
Yeah, no shit. That
Back
is
in
disturbing.
2014, the then 26-year-old Carmen Esparza had just recently graduated with a degree in psychology. But for Carmen, her dreams went far past being a psychologist. Instead, she wanted to become a famous actress, a
Just
dream
like me.
that those in her life genuinely believed that she could achieve, as she had the drive.
I want to tell you guys a story real quick. So, I actually did apply for acting, sort of. Well, I wouldn't say apply, but I did like tryout kind of thing. It was being held in my town. Like people will come and like find people who want to be actors and such. I did try out for that and I actually did pretty good, but I just wasn't ready for that yet. Like at first I wanted to, but then I thought more into it. And I was like, I don't even want to anymore because the thing about acting, folks, is that you have to like leave family and friends, and you can't really see them that much anymore because you're gonna be busy like filming and such. And it's a lot of work. And I heard you actually have to pay to be in films and to pay to be an actor, which that sounds stupid because you think that once you become an actor, you'll be the one getting paid, but it doesn't work like that until you actually like do a pretty good performance or like your career goes up in acting basically. If that makes sense. Then you start making the good bucks. So yeah, I just wasn't ready for acting. I don't know if I really want to be an actor anymore. I mean, it's still kind of my dream, yeah, but mm,
And the looks to make it in the industry. But things rarely go the way that we hope or expect, and in Carmen's case, tragedy would strike before she'd be able to live out her dreams.
jeez.
In February of that year, Carmen was seen working out at a gym in Mexico City.
I haven't gone to
After
the gym in a long
exercising
time.
for a bit,
I gotta
she
hit the
was
gym
spotted
soon.
leaving the gym and heading home. There were no accounts of Carmen being seen after that final workout. She had
Oof.
just vanished. Over the following months, her family and friends would lead a search to find this missing girl, but no trace of her had turned up, with the lack of results eventually leading her family to believe that she had been kidnapped. Which, if that were true, then there would be no telling where she could have wound up.
Yep, that's true.
But as it turned out, she didn't wind up going far at all, and in the end, it was revealed that she had been at her apartment the entire time,
This is kind of confusing. What's
just
going on
not
here?
in her room. After multiple people had called the service desk of the apartment complex complaining about foul tasting water, a maintenance worker would open the hatch to the water tank and discover Carmen's severely decomposed body.
God, that must be a disturbing sight to see. Because imagine if you're just a worker casually doing your thing and like you stumble upon that, and God, that's gotta be really fucking disturbing to see.
This discovery was made nearly a year after she had gone missing. It's
Holy
believed that she had been in there the whole time,
Jesus
meaning that for
Christ.
nearly a year, hundreds of residents in the complex were drinking and bathing with the very water that
Mm-mm.
Carmen was decaying in.
No.
It seems that officials may have believed that foul play was involved, with her wealthy ex boyfriend being one of the main suspects. It's obviously a terrifying case, with
It
the most
is.
disturbing detail being how long she went undiscovered in that tank. A whole year, with people consuming literal bits of her.
Okay, you don't have to
It's
describe
just
that,
so
dude.
morbid to even think about, but it's not even the most extreme example. In 2016, a routine plumbing inspection was being done in a special education facility in Brisbane. The water tank was searched, revealing the body of a man. Except the body had been in that water for so long and had deteriorated so badly that all that was left were bones.
Oh
To make this case even more
no.
disturbing, the water tank was underground, underneath the school. It's not a
What?
place that anyone would just stumble into. Because of this, cops believe that this man had been thrown into the tank years and years before. The only good news to come out of this case was that the water tank had actually been disconnected and
That's
the
good.
facility was no longer using it.
Well, I mean, it's
But
not good that he was
unfortunately,
murdered, but
not
it's
all
good
cases
at
are
least the
like
kids
this.
weren't drinking it.
In 2018, maintenance workers were cleaning the water tank at Muklampar, India. The tank was located on the grounds of a public school and provided water to the drinking fountains and the bathrooms. During the cleanup process, one of the workers spotted bones in the tank and immediately notified the school. A search and cleanup process was done.
Jesus
Following
Christ,
this
all these
discovery,
stories are
which
just so
revealed
fucking
that
disturbing and
someone had died
depressing.
inside the water tank. And again, it had happened so long ago that the body had deteriorated fully. To this day, there hasn't been a certain ID on who this person was, but one family has come forward and claimed that the decayed body belonged to their son, who had
What?
gone missing in that very area and whose age, sex, and projected decay seemed consistent to the bones that were found. But it's
What
how
do you
long
mean?
that he was missing that's the most troubling part, because their son had gone.
Sorry if I'm not being so energetic or just shocked, whatever. I'm tired, and all these videos, like the one I reacted to about the Hollywood Reaper, well not Reaper, the Ripper, and the one with the freaking, what was another one that I reacted to just now? The food theory one. All those videos, including this one, are all being filmed on the same night. So yeah, I'm tired, but I'm doing this all for you guys so I can get some content out there. So yeah.
Gone missing 18 years ago. If this turns out to be true, then an entire school full of kids have been drinking and using that water for 18 years.
No. Oh, you have to play the audio,
This truly
man.
has to be one of the worst ways to go. Just trapped in darkness.
You don't have
No
to
one
play
can
the
hear
audio,
you
man.
unless
Come
you
on.
drown. And not only that, but the after effect is just as gruesome, because people will literally end up drinking you and bathing in you. It's so gross, so gruesome.
This video's got even more disturbing. For one, you didn't have to add that audio of the person drowning, and you didn't have to describe everything in that detail. Like, come on.
It's an unimaginable death.
Yeah, no
Yet
kidding.
I was surprised to find something. that
What?
many have chosen this way to die.
Chosen.
In the Elisa Lam case, the consensus conclusion is that she had suffered some kind of mental breakdown and had voluntarily jumped in the water tank. But despite this being the mutually agreed upon conclusion for this case, I always had doubts lingering in the back of my mind. Because again, this stuff just doesn't happen. No one would pick
Exactly.
such a horrible way to go. But this actually isn't really the case. And suicide by water tank is a very real and somewhat common thing. It just doesn't get talked about. In
Really?
2019, a 40-year-old man named Sudhakar jumped inside a water tank owned by a water supply company in India. He did so in an attempt to take his own life, thanks to the overwhelming debt that he was under. The giant water tank serviced water to 11 districts in the area, and his body would be fished out 4 days later. In the previous year, a security worker named Jasima was guarding an apartment complex in Hong Kong. Midway through her shift, she complained about not feeling well, so she dismissed herself from her post and never returned.
Jeez. However, even though they're saying that all these deaths, man, I just look awful. I think after this video I should go to bed. But uh, it looks like I'm sad, but I'm not. I'm just yawning because my eyes get watery. But no, I was gonna say, even though most of these deaths are considered to be by suicidal, as if the person took their own lives, do they actually have 100% proof on that? Because what if it's not suicidal? What if they actually were murdered in there? Basically, like that last case where like the person was thrown in the water tank and just suffocated in there. It could be the same thing with some of those cases. I mean, I can kind of see why people would do that to take their own lives. Yeah, I mean, I don't see the good reason why, but I can see it happening. But like, you gotta think of the other factors too. Like, what if it's not like a suicidal case? It could be like a murder case kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Despite her colleagues searching the entirety of the property, there was no sign of Jasima anywhere. It would later be revealed that she had taken the stairs up to the very top of the building, climbed a ladder, and jumped inside the water tank, leaving behind 2 suicide notes.
Okay, well that's proof.
The most disturbing suicide case that I came across came from India. There, 38-year-old Vans Devi had been living a life that seemingly most would enjoy. She was married and lucky enough to have 5 children of her own, each of whom were described as being intelligent, respectful, and focused on their schooling. But there was one issue. Each of the children that Vans Devi had were girls, and
Okay.
her husband, Ranaram Jat, had grown concerned that he may never get the son that he always wanted.
Mm.
Authorities believe that this caused Devi to feel guilty, knowing that her biological clock was ticking and the time to have a son was running out. Perhaps it was this guilt that broke Devi, but whatever it was, she snapped. She took each of her daughters to a nearby water tank
No.
and one by one threw them in. The
Oh.
oldest daughter was just 13 and the youngest was only 3 years old.
No.
Once her children had landed in the water, Debbie too decided to jump in along with them.
Why would you do that?
It was in that claustrophobic, dark tank.
Okay, come on,
the
dude. Don't
family
describe this man,
all
please.
drowned together, with their bodies being fished out days later. The
God
sheer
damn,
number of
this is
these
fucking
cases
disturbing.
is staggering compared to what I was expecting. But this is something that isn't even new either. In 1989, residences in Princeton.
I actually don't know if anyone will watch this video anymore because it's too fucking disturbing. I don't like how he's describing everything in full detail, and I don't like how he's playing the audios of people drowning or like just creepy audio, basically. I don't know if anyone want to watch this video, but I mean, I only got 4 minutes left, so might as well, I guess.
West Virginia complained of strange tasting water. A quick check revealed that a man had fallen into the tank
Of course.
2 months previously with authorities confirming that the man had taken his own life. And this isn't even the earliest example, with that coming all the way back in 1964, where a 59-year-old man had drowned in the water tank on top of a New York City apartment. But this example, sadly, was no suicide, as
Oof.
the man was simply doing repairs on the tank
So you fell in?
and had fallen in.
Yep.
He desperately tried to claw his way out, with scratch marks later being found on the inside of the metal tank. His attempts proved futile. This is
That's
just
sad.
something that happens. People die in water tanks, and in the majority of these cases, people choose death. And it's honestly shocking to me. And out of all these cases that I've read up on, one of them really has stood out.
What
Not
is it?
because it's especially shocking, but it's because of the similarities it shares
Oh, no.
with the Elisa Lam case. In Bhubaneswar, India, 19-year-old Priyak Jena had been struggling with his mental health. During this struggle, he had began dabbling in drugs, further heightening his mental state. He was in a bad place, and one night it all came to a head. He went on the roof of his living quarters, removed all of his clothes, and jumped inside the water tank, where eventually he would drown. Officials believe that he may have been having some sort of mental breakdown at the time, as he had been spotted acting strangely that night.
Jeez.
To me, when I heard this story first, I immediately thought of Elisa Lam. They were both struggling with their mental health. They were seen acting strangely before they died, and they both removed their clothes and jumped into a water tank.
Supposedly.
So what's the
Yeah,
point
you had to
of
put
me
that there.
sharing all these cases? Well, for starters, I feel like they help to normalize Elisa Lam's death. For years, I struggled to comprehend how she could have just jumped into that tank. I felt like something far more sinister must have happened
That's what I think
because of
too.
how unique the situation was. But hearing these cases, it makes the theory that she had committed suicide far more believable because it shows us that it's happened many times before.
I mean, I guess that's true and all, but then again, we don't actually. Sometimes, yeah, if they leave suicidal notes and all that stuff, yeah, that's proof that it was suicidal. But if they don't and people still believe it's a suicide, then we don't actually know what happened. We just believe that it happened. And that's kind of what I think too.
In a way, it strips away from the creepiness of the case.
Yep.
And honestly, just makes it a lot more sad, if anything.
It is sad,
I'm also
actually.
sharing these stories because no one else is. We've all heard
Really?
Elisa Lam's story over and over again, and it was an obsession for many of us, including myself, because I always thought there would never be another case like it. But Elisa Lam wasn't the only one to die inside a water tank. The other stories just aren't being told. And truthfully, I would bet that right now there's a body out there somewhere floating in a water tank, slowly breaking down, just waiting to be discovered.
Wow, that was really depressing and sad. And what you said at the end, when that there could be a body out there in the water tank right now as we speak, that's just disturbing to think about. Because yes, that actually can be the case right now, and this whole thing is sad. It is sad. Nobody should take their own lives at all, no matter what the reason is, or if they're feeling depressed or bullied or something like that. No one should never have to take their own lives. If you're feeling suicidal, please, please, please don't take your own life. Okay, just know that you're a valuable person. Okay, you are an amazing person that can do amazing things. You have family, you have loved ones, and even if you don't for some reason, there's still good people out there that will want to help you. Trust me. Just I'm just saying this because I just want to say it. Don't take your own life. Don't think you're not valuable because you are. You're an amazing person. Anyway, other than that, this whole video was just disturbing and just sad and creepy. I still can't get over how he just described everything in detail. Makes the video more disturbing. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.